Right now, we are going to present Lamb to the Slaughter short story analysis by Roald Dahl. And this is our group members. My name is NURUL IZZAH binti NASARUDDIN, BGJ 240710303.
Hi, my name is IRENE SUFYA binti Muhammad HAFFIZ, and my ID number is BGJ240710302.
Hello everyone, my name is YASMIN MARSYA binti Nikmin and my ID is BGJ 240710340.
Hello, my name is Yasmin AULIA binti Muhammad SYAMSYIR. My ID number is BGJ 240710323.
Hi, my name is NURAMRINA RASHADA binti ABDULLAH. My ID is BGJ 240710334.
Hi and good morning to everyone. Today we are going to present to you our short story that is Lamb to the Slaughter by Roald Dahl. So, this short story written by our famous writer that is Roald Dahl in 1953. It was first published in Harper magazine. So the story begins when the Mary Melanie, a housewife who kills her husband with a leg of lamb and cleverly hides the evidence. This story is as for themes of betrayal, irony, and deception.
And now for the fronted triangle. For the exposition, Mary Melanie is a 6 months pregnant woman who is loving and also devoted to her husband. She was waiting for her husband to come back from work. And now, for the next one, the rising action. Patrick, which is Mary's husband, starts to acting weird by drinking heavily, and he tells Mary something devastating, which is he is going to leave her 6 months pregnant wife. As for the climax, in a shocking moment where Mary went to the kitchen to cook supper for her husband, but her husband told her not to because he wanted to eat outside. And Mary went to the kitchen to grab a frozen leg of a lamb and swung it in the air on her husband's back as hard as she could. And for the following action, Mary quickly thinks of a plan to cover up her crime. She went to put the lamb leg into the oven, and she went to the grocer to act like everything is normal. And when she returned home, she acts like she just discovered her husband is dead. Last but not least, the resolution or denouement. The police officer ate the leg of the lamb that was offered by Mary, which is the weapon that was used by Mary to kill her husband. Unknowingly, the police officers actually destroying the only weapon that was used in the crime scene.
Let's take a look at the settings of the story. Time setting. The story sets in 1950s, which we can tell from the way the characters live, the furniture, and the way Mary Melanie waits for her husband at home. It reflects a typical household of that period. The events of the story also take place over the course of one evening, from the moment Patrick comes home from work until the detective finish their investigation. Next, let's look at the place setting. Most of the story happens in the Melanie home, especially in the living room and the kitchen. This is where Mary and Patrick have their conversation and where the crime takes place. Another important setting is the grocery shop, where Mary goes to create an alibi. Finally, the story also takes place at the crime scene, when the police come to investigate the Melanie house. So, to sum up, the time setting is the 1950s, happening over one evening. The place settings includes the Melanie home, the grocery shop, and the crime scene. These settings are very important because they create a normal everyday atmosphere at first, which makes the shocking events of this. Let's get into the characteristics of this story. The first character we have is Mary Melanie. The story revolves around Mary Melanie, which makes her the protagonist. She is pregnant and devoted housewife and loves his husband deeply. The second character we have is Patrick Melanie, Mary's husband. Patrick Melanie is a police detective who seems cold and detached. The third character we have is the grocer named Sam, Mary's alibi. Mary speaks with him after the crime to establish an alibi, pretending everything is normal. The last character we have is Sergeant Jack Doonan and the other detectives. They are colleagues of Patrick, who is responsible on investigation of his death.
Three conflicts in Lamb to the Slaughter short story. Two of them are in external conflict, meanwhile one of them is in internal conflict. So the first external conflict is character versus character, where Patrick Maloney tells Mary that he is leaving her, likely for another woman. This betrayal shatters Mary's whole world, leading her to impulsively killing him by the frozen leg of a lamb. Meanwhile, the second external conflict is character versus society, where the police came to Mary's house to investigate about her husband's death. And Mary decided to deceive them by tricking them into eating the lamb frozen leg that she cooked, that is the very murder weapon that the whole police is searching for. Meanwhile, the internal conflict is, after the murder, Mary battles with shock and fear. She quickly shifts from grief and confusion to survival mode, carefully plotting how to conceal her crime to cover the police eyes. Now, let's get into the point of view. The story is told in third person's point of view. The narrator mostly follows Mary Maloney's perspective, allowing readers to see her emotions, see her fears, and also see her quick thinking after she did her crime. This perspective helps build tension and also suspense, since the readers only know what Mary Maloney is experiencing and not what the detectives are suspecting. Okay.
Okay, so the themes for the story is betrayal and revenge. The betrayal happens when Mary Melanie, who is deeply in love with her husband, but out of sudden, the husband said he want to leave her. So that is when the betrayal happens. So the revenge happened when, out of shock and anger, Mary Melanie took a lamb leg and swung over Patrick Melanie back head. So that's when revenge happened.
Sorry, there are two literary devices, which is irony and imagery. So the first one is irony. If you guys still remember what is irony is, it is the exact different from what we expect. So the first, we have two irony in the story, which is the first one is situational irony, and the second one is the verbal irony. The situational irony happens when Mary Melanie, we as a reader expect Mary Melanie, who is loving and caring wife, would be break down after knowing his husband dead. But she eventually not, and she is the murderer. So that is the situational irony. So for the verbal irony happens. So the verbal irony happens when the police officer eats the lamb leg, which is the weapon, when the Mary Melanie offers it to them. So they never know that the lamb leg that they were eaten is the weapon. So that is the verbal irony. So the next one is the imagery. In this story, it was said that the room was warm and clean, the curtains was brown, and the two tables like lamp alight. So which is describe the coziness of Mary's living room.